Despite the year of Shadow coming to a close, Shadow Generations is one of those games that'll be remembered and played by fans for many years to come. I haven't had the chance to make many videos on this game, but if you happen to be an active viewer of my live streams, which you definitely should be by the way, then you'd know that I've gone on record to say that Shadow Generations is easily one of my favorite Sonic games to date. The game has almost everything I look for in a Sonic game: top-notch level design, amazing boost gameplay, an entertaining story, a decent enough soundtrack, and so much more. This game has so much that I adore about it. Recently, I was able to buy the game again for my PC, as I had first got it for my PlayStation 5 when it dropped. And that brings us to the topic of today's video. I'm an advocate for using mods to bring video games, and especially Sonic games, to their max potential, while still keeping the core of the game intact. The adventure games, as you may know, are very easy advocates for this, being brought to their definitive playstyles via the help of these fan-made mods. But Shadow Generations is a bit of a different case. This game at its base alone is without a doubt one of the best Sonic games to date. I'm just gonna go on record to say now that you don't need any mods for this game to still be one of the best Sonic experiences in my opinion. But despite that, that doesn't mean that there isn't some fun to be had with the current mod support that this game has. This isn't going to be the same as my Adventure 2 mod guide, as while I have picked out a handful of mods to help push the Shadow Generations experience, there won't be nearly as many picked, nor do I view them as necessarily essential in any way. While I will be listing these mods from most to least important, I view these mods more to be optional. Slight quality of life improvements, if you will. But before we get into the mods, you're going to want to make sure that you have the HedgeMod Manager installed. While it comes to modding games such as Shadow Generations, Sonic Generations, Sonic Frontiers, and a lot more, this will be your number one place to go, including a variety of settings and codes that I'll also talk about later in this video. So, with all that out of the way, once you have the HedgeMod Manager installed, let's get into the mods I've picked out for you all. The No Mid-Level Cutscenes mod removes all of the unskippable cutscenes that the levels have to offer in both the base and movie DLC. Now, aside from the cutscenes in the movie DLC, these don't necessarily bother me all that much. Sure, I think an in-game option to skip them would be nice, but I overall don't have a problem with them. But to someone who may just want to sit down and play the game without the need to sit through those cutscenes, this mod is perfect for you, as it removes most, if not every single one that lingered within the levels that this game had to offer. While I don't necessarily use the mod myself, this is definitely the most game-changing one of the bunch, so I've chosen to put it at the top when it comes to importance, as I know that this mod will certainly benefit a lot of players. The Essential Shadow Enhancement mod takes the in-game shadow model and adds various quality of life improvements to it, giving him improved fur textures, reducing that weird lighting effect on Shadow's model in both the level and cutscenes, and so much more. But in my opinion, the best enhancement that this mod has to offer is the updated boost animation, giving us a glorious skating animation while Shadow is boosting instead of a simple hover above the ground. This mod is incredible, and really pushes what the original in-game model tried to achieve. The Rainy Kingdom Valley mod vastly improves the visual quality of the stage in my opinion. The rain, the water on the ground, and the lighting makes for an even more beautifully looking stage to run through. It reminds me so much of Mania Encore mode and makes Kingdom Valley so much more visually appealing and interesting to look at. I'm also just a sucker for rainy and darker environments in my video game levels, so this mod is a must-have for me. In the future, I'd love to see more mods like this for the rest of the game's levels. It's simply beautiful. Whilst I'm at it, I'd also like to recommend the Sunset Kingdom Valley Act 2 mod. You can use these mods simultaneously, as the Sunset mod only affects Act 2. Everything I said about the Rainy mod applies here. It's such a visually beautiful mod to lay your eyes on, and it's one that I plan on keeping. The David Humphrey Shadow Voice mod replaces Shadow's voice lines with a mix of voice clips from Adventure 2 and Heroes. Kirk has recently done an amazing job at Shadow, and this game is no exception. But David Humphrey is, in my opinion, my favorite voice actor of the bunch. Hearing his various voice lines throughout the levels is such a huge plus in my opinion. I'll also leave a Jason Griffith voice mod in the description if you prefer that mod, but for me, it's David all the way. The Supporting Me OST version mod takes the official soundtrack release version of Supporting Me and replaces the in-game version with it. If you weren't already aware, for some odd reason they decided to use what I believe is to be an early version of the Supporting Me remix whilst you fight the Bio-Lizard. This version contains none of the lyrics and a slightly different instrumental, so being able to hear the finished version of now one of my favorite Sonic vocal themes in this game just makes the experience 10 times better for me. The Who I Am Symphonic Rock mod is used for the same purpose as the Supporting Me mod. If you didn't already know, Who I Am was an unused song made for Shadow 5 created by Magnify, the creators of All Hail Shadow. I couldn't tell you why they ended up not using the song for the game, but I, as well as many, still associate it with Shadow's character, as it fits him pretty perfectly. It's an amazing song that I feel didn't deserve to go unused. This mod uses a fan-made symphonic rock cover of Who I Am created by D. Sanji. and it's used to replace the All Hail Shadow remix used for the game's final boss. Once again, a genuine improvement in my opinion, as I simply prefer Who I Am over All Hail Shadow, whilst also serving its purpose of being a shadow song. Really enhances the overall feel of an already amazing final boss in my opinion. Now it's time to move on to the codes. The only codes I'd recommend using are the smooth camera and fixed grind magnetism. And, well, that's about it. Like I said before, Shadow Generations at base is already one of my favorite Sonic games. These mods, while not essential in any way, simply take that already amazing experience and elevate it more so. And I have no one but the hardworking fans who have made these mods to thank for that. The modding scene for this game are still in its early days. We have many more quality of life mods, character mods, and even future original stage mods to come. So expect another part to this video later down the line. But that's gonna be it for today's video. If you haven't already, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't already, the link's in the description. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. This is JXP, leveling up. Take care.